everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to show you this hair bow today. This hair bow is widely known as the Keyla hair bow, and if I was to give it a name, I would probably call it the Scallop shell bow or mermaid shell bow, something like that, because it just sort of resembles like a scallop shell. Anyway, we're going to do a rainbow version. You can make it so the actual shell part is all one colour, but I'm showing you how to make it with 5 different colours. It's like a rainbow. So altogether that does actually take quite a lot of ribbon. I actually worked it out and there is 253 centimetres of ribbon here, and that is not including the 1 centimetre wide which I wrap around the centre and line the clip with. So yeah, it takes a lot of ribbon. You could narrow it down to less ribbon if you remove your base bow or if you don't double line your surrounding bow. But because this has a white background, I like to double line it. So we're going all on out and just doing the full whack and making the bow as beautiful as we can today. So first of all, as you can see, my ribbon is already cut. This piece here is for the base bow, and this is 4 centimetres wide, and I have cut this to 45 centimetres in length. And then we have 2 patterned and 2 plain, and they are all 4 centimetres wide. By 32 centimetres in length, and that is all 4 pieces, so 2 patterned, 2 plain. And then as you can see here, we've got 10 pieces and 2 of each colour, and these are all again 4 centimetres wide and 8 centimetres in length, and that is all of these 10 pieces. So to begin with, you want to heat seal all the ends of your ribbon, so just go along all the edges, and this will just take away any frayed pieces and prevent any further fraying. So you want to do that on all your pieces of ribbon. And then I'm just going to set these 2 aside for now, and we're going to take our longer piece and we're going to make our base bow. So to make our base bow, just going to heat seal these ends just while I'm working with it to prevent any fraying. We're going to bring this in and make like a S shape. So just fold these 2 sides over, and then we want to leave around a 2 centimetre overlap on each side. And then this middle part should be around 14 centimetres from this part to this end. And then I'm just going to fold this in half, just so I can give that a little squeeze when I know where the centre is. And then I'm going to sew through this middle. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I'm just going to wind that around the centre a few times, pull it tight, and then knock that off at the bottom. So that is our base bow made. We'll trim the tails off when the whole bow is complete, so we'll just set that aside for now. And now we're going to make our surrounding bow. I'm just going through these ones quite quickly because the main part of the bow is obviously the middle part. So what we're going to do now is take one of our rainbow pieces and one of our solid pink pieces, and I'm going to pop these together, and then I'm going to just use my lighter to bond these two ends together. So I'm just kind of melting the ends, heat sealing as I'm going along. And then they will just hold together in place for when we work on our ribbon. And then I'm just going to take a couple of pins, and then we're going to find the centre. So picking up our rainbow ribbon, going to fold that in half and just mark where that centre is. And the same with the other piece. So we've got our centres marked like that, and next we're going to pick this up and we're going to bring two sides together at the top, and I'm going to overlap right side over the left side, and then I'm just going to take my tape measure because I want this to be around 6 centimetres wide. So just slide it across to 6 centimetres across the top here. And then taking another pin, I'm going to pop a pin in there at 3 centimetres, so it's halfway. So this is what we've got now, and now I'm just going to flip this over. So we've got this pocket here. Now this is where the twisty bit comes in, but this can be a little bit confusing, so watch carefully. You can always pause the video or wind it back if you need to. So we're going to bring this side up like we're going to fold it in half, and then we're going to put it through these loops and pull it out through the other side. So now it looks like this, and then we're going to bring this back up and over so it lays over the top. I'll just show you that again because I'm not going to show you all the details on the other half, so we don't want the video to go on forever. So holding it like this, bring this side up through these loops, grabbing it on through the other side, and then lay it over the top like that. So it looks like this. And now using the pin, which is actually at the bottom there, but you can kind of see where it is, line the pins up so we know we're in the middle, and this edge all up with this straight edge, and then we can sew through this middle. So I've already got my double strand thread knotted at the end on a needle. I'm going to start sewing across this edge, so I'm going to go in through this first corner for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it looks like that. And then I'm just going to remove both of these pins, and I'm going to pull in this pinch. And then once you've got that pinch in there, I'm just going to go in through that end a couple of times just to hold that in place so we don't lose that pinch while we work on the other half of the bow. So So I'm just going to go in through that loop there a couple of times to form a knot, and then that there will hold that pinch in. So that's 1/2 of our surrounding bow, as I call it. And now we're going to keep this cotton attached and just lay that down while we do those exact same steps on the other half. So now continuing on with our same piece of thread from the other half of our bow, again sewing from the same side from right to left, and the same 8 stitches. And again, pulling those needles out, or pins out, should I say. I haven't pulled this completely tight yet. As you can see, I've still got some slack here, but when I pull this tight, that will bring those 2 halves together, and then that pinch will form. This is why I always use double strength thread, because then you can get a real good pull on that and get a nice pinch in there. Again, I'm just going to knot this end off so I don't lose the pinch. And then I'm going to start bringing these 2 sides together. So I'm just going to flip it over. And then I'm going to go in through this side, out through the opposite side, and that will just close those 2 halves of the bow in together. And then on this last one, I'm just going to go in and out and not pull it completely tight. Go in through this loop a couple of times to form a knot. And then when you flip this over, you can then see that you've got your boutique style surrounding bow. Now this you can have either way. You can have it this way, where you've got this crossover effect, or you can flip it over and fluff it up and have it this way. It's completely up to you. So I'm going to now set this aside for later, and we're going to work on that main part of our bow. As you can see, I've started on some of these pieces. I'll show you how I'm folding these. So taking your 8cm pieces, fold it in half, just give it a little pinch on one edge, and that will just show you where that centre is, and then fold these opposite corners diagonal into that centre, so that these are in line like that, like a triangle, and you want these touching in the middle. And then using your lighter, I'm just going to go over this edge because there's a little bit, got a few frays on there I can still see. And then using your lighter, melting that middle bit so that they bond together. That does get quite hot, so be careful of your fingers. And that is how you do all of those pieces. So fold it in half, give it a pinch, so you can see where the centre is. Fold these opposite corners down towards that centre so that they're touching and in line, and then just melt those in together, just in that centre piece, not all the way along, just the centre piece there to hold it in place. Fold it in half, fold the corners in to form a triangle, and just bond that middle pieces in together. And then once you've done all 10 pieces, that's for one half of the bow, this is for the other. Now we're ready to make our shell part of the bow, as I like to call it, the scallop shell. So I've made one half already, so you can see what we're making. This is what we're aiming for. So I used 5 pieces already and done this half, and then we're going to make the other half. So I'm just going to lay this aside. I'll pop that there so you can see it. And I've got these in the same order, and I'm making them exactly the same way as I did this one. So we're going to have opposite, so the pink will be at the top on this side, then blue, then purple, then yellow, and then the baby pink. So I'm doing it exactly the same way. I've got my double strength thread with a knot in the end and a needle. So beginning with your pink piece and the second piece, which is the blue, you hold them both this way up, but we're going to flip the blue the other way around. So we've got the opening on the pink and the blue is the plain side, and we're going to tuck this corner inside of this piece. And then under here you can see the 2 corners. You want to just bring those together, and that will just then line that all up so it looks like this now. And then we want to bring our pink piece and we're going to fold it in half. So bringing these 2 corners of the pink together, and this one's obviously got the blue in it. You want to make sure you catch the blue when we pop the needle in there. Grabbing your needle and thread, go in through those corners, making sure you've caught the blue inside there, and pull it all the way through to the knot. So now it looks like this. And next we're going to flip it over again. So now we've got the blue opening facing towards us, and then we're going to get our next colour, which is the lilac, and then again we're going to flip that over and we're going to do the same. We're going to tuck this inside the blue this time, bring those 2 corners together, and this time we're going to grab our needle, and when we pop the needle through here, that is going to bring all of these together. So again, going through that corner, making sure you catch the blue and the lilac ribbon, like that. And then when you pull that through, that will bring those all together. So this is what you've got now, the blue and the pink together, and then that lilac is still open. Flipping it over so we can see the lilac ribbon opening. Grab the yellow, flip that over, tuck it inside of the lilac, line the corners up, grab the needle, go in through both the lilac and the yellow, and then that will bring those together. Like that. And again, for the last piece, flip it over, grab the baby pink, flip it upside down, tuck it inside of the yellow piece, bring those corners together, pop the needle in. Each time you pop the needle in, make sure you're going on the inside so that brings it towards these pieces. So I'm going from this piece into the inside of this piece, and that will bring those together. And now we're just left with this pink piece with no more to add in. So you're also going to bring that piece up as well. So just lining that corner up, popping your needle in through that last corner, and that will bring that last piece in together. Now I'm going to pull this tight, and I'm just going to go in through there a couple of times just to hold those all in tightly together. And on this last one, I'm just going to go in, not pull this loop all the way through. I'm going to put the needle in there a couple of times to form a knot. And there you have the other half of your shell bow. Now we can bring these two together. So keeping the thread on this one, I'm going to go through the end of this half, I'm just using my table for some extra pressure to get that needle through all of those layers, and then that will just bring those together. And I'm just going to go through this end and that side. Just do that a couple of times, just go through one side and then the other. Once you stick it on your bow, that will hold together anyway, so that should be fine. I'm just going to wrap that around that centre and then knot it off on the underside. Trim off this excess thread. So this is what it looks like. That's absolutely beautiful. I love the effect that this gives. This bow is stunning. And now the exciting part, we can put all of these together. So I've got my hot glue gun here warmed up. So first of all, I'm going to stick my surrounding bow onto my base bow. So I'm just going to pop some glue in the middle of my base bow, line up the surrounding bow, and then I'm going to pop some glue inside of my surrounding bow, and then I'm going to carefully place my shell, as I keep calling it, inside of that surrounding bow. And then I've just got a clip here, and this is a 65mm toothed clip. I'm going to line it with some pink ribbon to match our pink base bow. So I'm just going to heat seal this end, pop some glue on that end and start wrapping my clip. This is optional, you don't have to wrap your clip, but I've always done this. So we need to cut it to about here. I'll just heat seal this end. I'm going to stick this piece to the clip, but I'm going to leave this end free until last. So I'm going to glue it down onto the top of the clip. And then glue it underneath my bow. And then I'm going to put this piece over last to cover up the piece what we wrap around the centre. That just gives a nice little finish on the underside there. And then we can take that same ribbon again, and I'm just going to heat seal the end. And I'm going to start on the top of my bow just so I can make sure I cover up all of that stitch in there. So I'm going to go around a couple of times under that clip. And then we can stick this last piece down. So I'm just going to make sure I don't get glue on that bow. Pop some glue along that tail end, and then take that over that part of the bow where we've wrapped it around the clip, and that just gives a lovely finish on there. And then you can just fluff up your centre again, shape the bow. And then I've got some lovely rainbow embellishments here, which I'm just going to pop in that centre. I'm just going to use my scissors and just roughen this up. That will just help that glue to penetrate and hold it onto the bow. And then I've got my Gorilla super glue gel. And I also like to pop a little bit of hot glue on the top, and that will just help to hold that in place whilst the super glue sets. So I'm going to push that down. Oh yeah, we need to cut the tails as well. So the hot glue will hold that in place while the super glue is setting. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cut these tails at an angle. So I'm just going to cut this at an angle and curve it round. And the same with the opposite side. Just making sure they end up the same length. Yeah, like that. And then we're just going to heat seal these ends. And there you have your gorgeous Keyla hair bow in rainbow colour. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe, and also press the bell button to turn on notifications. If you check the description below this video, I have linked all of my social media accounts, my Facebook group, and also products used. Thanks guys, take care, bye bye.